all of us, at one point or another, we create boxes for ourselves and we create labels, and we have groups that we might belong to, that we might associate with. And this sense of belonging to a certain group of people, sharing, maybe interests, sharing certain views, can be very attractive. And there's inherently nothing wrong with that. But there are so many boxes that people identify with and labels that people identify with that are limiting their experience totally. And the more pressure from the outside, comes at them, the more they cling to those boxes, even though they're not really serving them anymore. In this society, we are programmed to be in those boxes, to have those labels. But it's literally time to understand that all these boxes, and there's boxes for everything, and this is actually the first step to pure limitation. And this is what these boxes are meant to do. So we never explored the unlimitedness of our mind and of our human potential. If you step out of it long enough, we've been doing this for such a long time, or stepping out and have been out of these main boxes for such a long time that it becomes so painfully obvious. These boxes limit our understanding of who we are. Step outside as far as you can and ask yourself, why? Why are we being limited when we go to preschool, when we go to kindergarten, when we go to school, when we go to university, when we go to college, when we go to learn a trade? Why is our creative thought, why is our true potential as mankind being constantly boxed in and constantly muffled and constantly put down? And why are we always just told, follow these rules, follow these guidelines, do what we tell you. This is how it is. This is what truth is. This is what authenticity is. Don't explore. Don't think for yourself. Don't become who you were meant to be. Because that's the only way how you could control people. That's the only way how you could get people to do what you think they should be doing. And if you step out long enough of your own little boxes, of your own little labels, if people say, well, I'm a barber, people say I'm a IT specialist. No, you're not that. That is a skill that you have. You are so much more than that. And then people say, well, I'm a liberal, I'm a conservative, I'm this, I'm that. No, you're none of those things. These are just things that you temporarily align with or identify with or associate with, but that's not who you are. And one of the biggest prisons that we live in is not our 9-to-5 jobs. It's not, the house that you live in, or you can't travel right now. That's not the biggest imprisonment. The biggest imprisonment is what happens up here. And only if you step out of it, you can allow yourself to ask the bigger questions in life. And this is what you're never meant to do. This whole system was created so you would never get to the point where you had enough time and enough freedom and enough courage to ask the bigger questions. And the bigger questions you cannot ask within this limited system of thought. It is such a limited system of thought. I'll tell you, my good friend Rory Feek, he's a country artist and songwriter, a very dear man, truly good mensch. And he's very popular on social media, got millions of followers. And we chat, we meet usually once a week. And Rory says, my social media conversation is one way. I put out a video, I put out a statement, a blog post. I never ever read a comment. And there's a lot of wisdom in that, I can tell you that. But we're not that way. Kristin and I, we do read comments, and we do love the conversation that we have with you all. But in that, sometimes there's, thousands of comments in one day. And my goodness, as beautiful as quite a lot of them are, some of them are just reeking of people arguing for their limitations. And they're not arguing for their limitations because their dear life depends on it. It's just because their belief system depends on it. And this is all this is. All this game is just one big belief system, one dogmatic belief system that is based on ideas, based on stories that people made up that came here before you. And most of us never bother to question those stories or those belief systems. We just go along with it. But we need to understand one thing. If we do not burn, and I'm not talking step out of the box, I'm not saying leave it for a minute, I'm not saying put it in a garage, I'm saying get rid of the box, burn the sucker, burn the boxes of what you believed reality is, because the systematic reality outside of us is, for the most part, a complete matrix. It is artificial, it is not real, it is not authentic, it is synthetic. And I can tell you, I've been in both sports and show business all my life. The deeper you dive into, let's say show business, the deeper you dive into things, the more all of the illusions dissolve and you see nothing is as it seems. Nothing. No show, no reality show, no concert, most of the artists, most of what is, nothing is as it seems. You come deep enough, you see there's a whole lot of nothing there. It's an illusion. And I grew up in a business family. My dad's a businessman. So I could see in his world that the deeper we went, the deeper he took me, the more he showed me it's all an illusion. There is a set of rules that doesn't really apply to all people, and that in behind the scenes of what you can see, things are usually the exact opposite of what they appear. And so I went into all the fields I could get access to. I've been invited into very different fields. And every time the same thing happened. What we see on the surface, what we see from science, from arts, from medicine, from politics, finance, what we see on the surface does never reflect the truth and the reality that is playing out behind the scenes. So my suggestion is, if you want to come deeper to the truth, to authentic experience, take what the official mainstream narrative is, take what the consensus is, take what the factual academic truth is, and turn it upside down. Assume the opposite and work your way inwards from there. 90% of the people, up until recently, 95% of the people have lived in this matrix bubble, simply soaking in what this matrix is telling them, and having a constant disconnect between what they feel and what is actually playing out. And so we're in this time now where we need to burn our boxes. And one of the things in the past weeks and months that has been coming to us is comments and emails and people telling us, you shouldn't talk about this. You know, you're called the Inspire channel, and really you shouldn't talk about conspiracy stuff, and you shouldn't really talk about COVID, or you shouldn't really talk about, you know, any of the other things that we talk about or we feature on our channel, the guests that we have, all of that. And here's my answer. I'll give you a straight answer. Fuck that. That's the straight answer. Fuck that. I'll talk about whatever I'm inspired to talk about. I'll talk about whatever comes from within, whatever moves me, drives me, we talk about is important to us, we feel is important to the whole. That's what we're going to do. I don't adhere to boxes. I don't adhere to preconceived notions about something, because I can tell you the narratives are all bullshit. It's all one big fake lie. But once you allow yourself to see that, and the allowing part means that you might have been around for 60, 70 years. You might have been around for 80 years. And if you actually allow yourself to see things for what they are, you must also allow yourself to realize that you might have been living a lie in many ways. We all have. And that's the hardest part. It's not that people don't see truth so often. It's that they would actually have to change fundamentally how they live, what they say, what they think, what their ideas are. Most people live that way. They have a belief system. In the best case, they've actually gathered those beliefs. You know, they've actually made up their mind about this themselves. That's the best case scenario. The usual scenario is they just pick up beliefs. Pick it up when they're very little, pick it up in their formative years, pick it up in their adolescence, and then they go through life believing these things. I can only tell you, I've questioned, and I still do every little thing, every habit, every belief, every thought that I have as I walk through life. Why am I doing this? Why am I sleeping on a mattress? Why am I sleeping on a bed? Why do we use box springs? Why? Why do we use the materials that we use? Why do we put all of the stuff in the food? Why do we have giant, absolutely humane, crazy animal farms? I mean, we worship this shit here, and we treat it well, and we put covers on it, and we take care of it, and we pay for it, and we pay enormous sums for it, but we do not treat living beings with even 1% of that dignity. You have to leave your fucking boxes, all burn them down, and step out and begin to think in the vicinity of the Creator's thoughts. And you can't do that in the boxes. If you really want to have that divine spark within you activated, if you really want to understand deeper what all of this is about, you have to leave every freaking box, every box that you've ever created for yourself, which means free flowing, which means no outer security, which means no safety net, nothing to fall back on, but being completely open to the thoughts and the thought process of the Creator. And once you step out of the boxes, you step out of linear thinking, you step out of preconceived notions. It's like a clean slate. It's a completely new thing. And then, with time, when you tune in here. Hey, this is Jean Nolan. Thanks so much for watching. You can watch the full live stream on this topic by clicking on the link in the description.